Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. This is a parking lot next to where I used to live in Penfield. My residence is right there. I lived there for 7 years. Public Defender Julie Cianca. Is it a crime to walk through that parking lot? I'm not asking you to rhetorically answer me. I'll tell you what the answer is from Todd Baggs or Sandra Dorley, because I know what the answer is. The answer is yes. That's insane. That's a lunatic fringe. Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper. You can walk through this parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? You, Perry Duckles, at the District Attorney's Office, and you, Mark Monahan, at the District Attorney's Office, and you, Michelle Crowley, convenes a grand jury to indict me when I don't know the grand jury's convened. You couldn't walk through this parking lot. You, Michael Radley, you, Scott Alberti, you, Kathleen Miller, you, $101,000 William Tadeo can walk through this parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? It has an answer. Because of then $67,000 cop from hell, Shannon Meyer, who's now paid $83,000. I really am astonished that Sheriff Baxter gave this freak, Shannon Meyer, a $16,000 raise. When I say astonished, I try to strive for precision in language. I want to show you the warrant that this freak wrote, and this is why she's a freak, who I spoke to on the phone for an hour, and I do not know she's writing this warrant. This here is in your office, Todd Baxter, over and over and over. This here is in your office, Sandra Dorley, over and over and over. Mark Monahan, Perry Duckles, Michael Rather, Scott Alberti, Kathleen Mill, William Tadeo. This is in your office. She should be fired immediately. Not because of anything she's done to me, which is violate my civil and constitutional rights. That's irrelevant. This cop freak, $83,000 Shannon Meyer, will violate civil and constitutional rights of other citizens. That's why. So this is every sentence where I took every sentence and I responded to it. A piece of paper lands me in Monroe County Jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court before 70-year-old fossil John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court, and this is it. This is a hatred for the human condition I never thought that I would experience in my life. I have walked through this parking lot 4,000 times because I moved to this residence right here in Penfield. Right there's where I used to live. In 2012, my then girlfriend Laura Riley, because Laura and I lived in Webster. And Laura's hired at the Penfield Public Library. The first time I went to see her at 1985 Bay Road, I opened up the door and she was so happy to get that job. I do not know. At the end of this hallway is Penfield Town Court. Because there's no reason for me ever to be in a courtroom. Because I have 2 speeding tickets past my 50th birthday. One of my places of employment in Washington, D.C. was dismissed when I went to court. One of my places of employment in Albany, New York, was dismissed when I went to court. The lunatic fringe of this cop freak, Shannon Meyer, who I've been in contact with Todd Baxter repeatedly. A warrant for my arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. And the way she set me up, she's using a civilian. She called Steve Debs and Brock Coltrane in lawn care. She said, Roger tracked to buy his residence here. If he comes out of the house, we're going to arrest him. But that's not a crime, employees at the sheriff's office. I called Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Officer of Property Tax Service. I've said this over and over. Nobody owns that land. There's no documentation for ownership of this land. Even if there is ownership, this mother and son freaks that you've been leashed upon me at the sheriff's office, Nayraj Shah and Lam Kumar Shah, have documentation that miraculously proves land ownership here. It's still not a crime to walk outside, tell Steve Desmond is his name from Brock Coltrane Lawn Care. No one owns the land and walks by and reds. That's not a crime, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So, right up here, I don't know if you can see it, but if you had this photograph in front of you, you can see it. But there's 2 of my neighbors right there walking through the parking lot. They're not arrested. That's why people hate the police. And I, in particular, I despise this Shannon Meyer with such an intensity that it has damaged and continues to damage my health. Because I feel that hatred inside me for her. Piece of paper lands me in jail. Prosecutor, when I appeared before John P. Lomenzo Jr., didn't talk in court, Perry Duckles. And is this Julie Hahn or is this not Julie Hahn, who's on Monroe County Court when she's not the victor? She's not even close to victory. Who's my prosecutor before John P. Lomenzo Jr. that delivers me to Monroe County Jail in front of John P. Lomenzo Jr. for criminal contempt second, where I haven't committed that crime, and harassment second. And how was I charged with harassment second by $79,000? Andrew Reale, again, the sick lunatic fringe, the disease of the mind, you cops at the sheriff's office. I go through a gym called PW Fitness. Someone walks to me, Jermaine L. Beman. You know his name, James Simone Jr., because you freed him. Beman stands over me, punches down, my head snaps back violently. Who did I just harass? I didn't harass anybody. Andrew Reale rides because he knows me, because of his parking lot. We go out to the vehicle. I'm sitting in the back seat of Andrew Reale's vehicle. He tells Beman the 7 words to say to me. He marches Beman around to the side of the vehicle, and Jermaine L. Beman says to me, I want to press charges against you. And with those 7 words, I'm charged with harassment second. Do you understand, employees at the sheriff's office, that I have not committed criminal attempt second, because that's not a crime? To tell a man I was tracking nobody owns the land and walk back in my residence. Do you understand I haven't committed harassment second? This is no victim, and I've been violently attacked. All this is happening to me because this cop breach Shannon setting this in motion. This happened within a 3-week period, I think it was. I'd have to look up the dates. Here I am past 50 with 2 speeding tickets, and then I get these 2 concoctions from you psychopaths at the sheriff's office. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything when I'm on here. At the public defender's office, sheriff's office, district attorney's office. You can't be convinced of anything because you're intellectually and morally bankrupt. Public defender Julie Cianca. What are the names of my prosecutors? Assistant public defender Mark Phillips. What are the names of my prosecutors? Assistant public defender Regina Harper. What are the names of my prosecutors? This is May 4th. Here. Now I have the grand jury information. I'm not going to read that because I already have. That link's attached. Julie Cianca, this is corruption. Here. I'm going to read 3 foils. And you see this over and over. 3 times in the last 10 days. Tell me these names. Public Defender Julie Cianca, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas, because you have these names. That's why. And when I appear in a courtroom, it's a taxpayer-financed public facility. Who are these fakes prosecuting me in total silence? The documentation for the case of Christopher Charges with John P. Miles Jr. in Pamphlet Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sanders Doyle? Just the payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is on here. Who's the freak? Julie Cianca. Who's the freak? Perry Douglas. Documentation for the case of Christopher Charges with Paul C. Metzer in Pamphlet Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sanders Doyle? It's the payroll for the district attorney's office. The answer is the freak's on here. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. This is the freak. The 5'2" 3-piece suit boy who's like this, I know. Just like the likeness, I believe is Junior Hahn, but I don't know. So who's the freak that has my concocted charges before Paul C. Metzer? And then I was elevated to Alex Renzi. And guess what, Perry Douglas and Julie Cianca? When Alex Renzi, the supervising judge, is $208,000, 70-year-old hack and fossil, wants me in front of him as his defense scale where you don't have to talk in the district attorney's office. I have a prosecutor. So one of your freaks at the district attorney's office, Perry Douglas, forced me into supervising Judge Alex Renzi. And you public defender, Julie Cianca, know the name of this freak. Because the freak is right here. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. This is the foil dated May 4th. This is attached to PDF. Documentation for the case for Christopher Charges, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sanders Doyle? What's the answer? I have prosecutors. Perry Douglas, Julie Cianca. Tell me what they are. Julie Cianca, you're appointed by the Monroe County Legislature? I believe. I don't have their arrogance. I'm right about everything. When I'm unsure about something, I'll say it. But this is who I'm going to contact about you. Julie Cianca. I'm going to contact, I'm looking at her biography in PDF, Monroe County Legislature, Sabrina Lamar, President. And she has a message here, which she signs, which she's talking to the citizens of Monroe County. And she says, as legislators, we must utilize this work in the best interest of those we directly represent in the entire county of Monroe. So Sabrina Lamar, I believe, is the reason why you're the public defender. I'm going to contact Sabrina Lamar, the president of the Monroe County Legislature. I'm looking at her biography again. And I'm going to tell the president of Monroe County Legislature that you, Julie Cianca, public defender of Monroe County, and your assistant public defenders, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, are refusing to disclose the names of my prosecutors, who are right here, whose names you have in your office. I don't like to use the phrase files because it reminds me of what happened in East Germany, if you understand what happened in that totalitarian state. But There is something called files where you walk up into a file cabinet and then you open the file cabinet up and there is a list of defendants and I should be one of them. And in the documentation of the public defender's office is my name. And in the documentation of the public defender's office is one of these freaks that's assigned to me because I have multiple freaks. Who are the freaks? And tell me, public defender Julie Cianca, and tell me, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas, and your $113,000 salary, and you refuse because you're corrupt. I don't know your salary, because it's right here. I do not know your salary, Julie Cianca, but I'll find out. Just like Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, and I'll talk about that online. So, this is what you're going to receive. This is going to come to our office. It's going to come back to me. I fill this out. This here is the certified mail receipt. There's your name, Julie Cianca. I'm paying to contact you for public information you have. There's your name, Julie Cianca. This is going to come back to me, and I'm going to tell you why momentarily. Mark Phillips. This is filled out. That's your name. This is going to come back in the packet that I sent to you, the envelope, the large envelope. You know why, Mark? You know why. Regina Harper, the public defender. This is going to come back to me, the envelope that I'm going to hold up. You know why? You know why. So I'll get to momentarily. So I'm going to send this to Perry Douglas. This is filled out. See, it says here, return receipt, hard copy electronic. I'm paying to reach you. What information you have at the district attorney's office. There's your name. This card comes back to me. The way it works is, here's my name on the back. That's how it comes back to me. Here's your name here, Perry Douglas. I put this in the mail. I'm using a legally binding document. That's the Freedom of Information Law. And you send the information to me, just like you, Mark Monahan. I believe you're the number 3. I do not know the power hierarchy. I have to guess, looking at the titles. I think you're the number 3. I know for sure Perry Douglas is the number 2. Saying you're only going to work like an ordinary New York. She drive herself into work at 47 South Street District Attorney's Office. She have a chauffeur that waits outside her house on Webster and drives her into the District Attorney's Office. I'm going to write that foil again because I've already used that foil and you refuse to comply because you're corrupt. So, this hack and fossil, here he is, Alex Renzi, who, when I contact him and when I'm in front of him, I'm using the most ferocious language I could summon for him. I said to him when I appeared before him in front of one of my appearances, you had to go all the way to Atlanta, Georgia to get your JD. Because he's a graduate of illustrious Emory University Law School in Atlanta, Georgia. I think I said you could go to Albany Law to get your JD. Who forced me into this hack and fossil? Who knows nothing? Just like Paul C. Metro and James P. and John P. Lorenzo Jr., 2 other hacks that sent me to jail. He knows absolutely nothing about my concocted charges, fiction, and lies. And when I contact the Office of Court Administration, after I tell him again he knows nothing, after I tell him again he's corrupt, there'll be no repercussions for him whatsoever. These judges could do virtually anything to a citizen, violate the civil and constitutional rights, smash a life into a million little pieces, and in my life I own nothing, I have nothing, everything's gone. Because of the legal eviction I've talked about previously. Scott Alberti, doesn't matter. Richard J. Seidman, this $75,000 disgusting corrupt cop, waited for me to exit my residence at 26 Sanders Farm Drive, watched me walk down Penfield Road, 2 Bad Road, or walked into Penfield Public Library. Richard J. Seidman, Captain Scott Alberti, walked into the Penfield Public Library. I stood up at the computer. He extends his arm like this. He slams me in the head with his arm, Richard J. Seidman. And then I fell backwards and my head hit the ceramic tile of the library floor. It's all happening to me because $28,000 bald-headed widow Paul C. Metzer wants to send me to jail. And it's not going to be Monroe County Jail. It's going to be Livingston County Jail. So I'm violently attacked by Richard J. Seidman. Paul C. Metzer's waiting for me sitting in Penfield Town Court, this ridiculous star chamber, without a jury of 12, without a table for a defense attorney, without a table for a prosecutor. And the district attorney's office is not notified. When I'm taken down the hall and my ears ringing, my head is pounding from Richard J. Seidman attacking me, they take me in there, and there she is with her prepared statement to read to me. I'm going to foil my prepared statement, Paul C. Metzer. The state legislature in Albany has changed this revolting law, the so-called bench trial. That's not a trial. It's one hack declaring the defendant guilty. That's what a bench trial is, what's commonly called one. Scott, I try not to impugn the character of somebody I don't know. I try to avoid that. And there are times where I failed at it because of how much I hate to detest and despise the sheriff's office. But I've never met you. And I don't know what your character is. And I have met individuals, the highest degree of character at the sheriff's office I've talked about previously. Richard J. Seidman should be fired. And he should be given an opportunity to defend himself because I'm going to write an assault complaint about him. You know what's going to happen? When I go into the facts and circumstances, when I send the transcript of what I'm saying here about Richard J. Seidman, I describe this, what's happening to me, this violent attack upon me, he will not be fired. The blue wall of silence will compel Todd Baxter to protect this violent criminal, Richard J. Seidman, who wears a Monroe County Sheriff's Office uniform. It will not matter to Todd Baxter that Richard J. Seidman attacked me. It will not matter to him that he's waiting for me to exit my residence. And where's my due process? Does that matter to you, Public Defender Julie Cianca, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper, that you're not called and you're not notified? It should. Michael Rather, $0. When I say the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is corrupt, this is why. Michael Rather, I'm going to send this to you. Are you still at the Sheriff's Office? I don't know. This is my question, Michael Rather. Todd Baxter is elected in November 2017. He's reelected 4 years later in 2021. So he has campaign accounts. Are you paid private money to go to the sheriff's office? I have not looked at Todd Baxter's campaign accounts. I will. I will foil them. If you can foil them, I'll go down to the Board of Elections. If it's a Board of Election, I'm not quite sure what the name is. I'm going to find out, Michael Rather, if there were dispersals to you since Todd Baxter took office in January 2018. And if there are dispersals over the last 5 years to you from Todd Baxter's campaign accounts, and you're at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office at 130 South Plymouth Avenue, you're being paid private money to go into that office because you're $0 on the payroll. This is what I'm going to tell Thomas P. DiNapoli, too. So Deputy Todd Thurston, you're out at 955 Panorama Trail where I have been. Is Richard J. Seidman there? Should be fired immediately because of what I just said. Andrew Reale gave me your card. And I think on your card it says Community Engagement Deputy. It's a serious matter for any police department, any sheriff's office in the United States of America, when those duly sworn officers of the law with a holstered weapon and badge are violently attacking innocent citizens or any citizen. A police officer should never attack a citizen. A police officer should defend himself every single time from a violent criminal. And that happens every day in the United States of America. I'm not doing anything except standing up at this terminal at the Penfield Public Library when Richard J. Seidman attacks me. And he will attack Todd, other innocent citizens. This is a psychopath cop, Richard J. Seidman, who needs to have some type of mental health counseling. And play this for him. And ask him what he thinks about it, about violently attacking me. He's able to violently attack me because I think he's thinking, I'm wearing this Monroe County Sheriff's Office uniform. I'm totally insulated from any type of prosecution. Richard J. Seidman is thinking to himself, I will not be arrested and prosecuted because I can do whatever the fuck I want in my Monroe County Sheriff's Office uniform. That's exactly what he did with me and violently attacking me. James Maloney Jr., when I'm attacked by this Jermaine Bettman at this gym, my head snaps back and I'm charged with harassment second in the backseat of Andrew Reale's police vehicle. I get a subpoena to go into Pembroke County Court. This is why Pembroke County Court is corrupt, and this is what I'm going to tell the House and Senate Judiciary Committee in Washington, D.C., their equivalents in Albany in the state legislature. I'm subpoenaed in. And there's a deal between Jessica Wagner at the district attorney's office and you, James Maloney Jr., with the defense attorney for this violent criminal, Jermaine L. Bettman. And when I sit down with my subpoena, the Penfield Town Court employee approaches me, orders me out of the courtroom. I see Bettman walking with his attorney. He's gone in 5 minutes. I'm attacked by Bettman. I'm in Monroe County Jail being charged with harassment second sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reale's police vehicle. The psychopath criminal who attacks me, Jermaine L. Bettman, appears before you. He's a free man. How's that defended? Because I've said this multiple times now, including on this app I use called TikTok. How's that defended, James Maloney Jr.? Defend yourself. Contact me. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. That's one of my email addresses. This is what I'm going to tell individuals that have regulatory power and control over you. And what's really frightening is that there's, in the state of New York, as you know, there's the appellate division, which is a series of courts above the Supreme Court. I think it's the Supreme Court, the appellate division, and the highest court is the Court of Appeals in Albany. What type of appeal is there to make for a decision by these hacks and sociopaths in Penfield Court, Paul C. Metro, James C. Run Jr., John P. Mentor Jr. There is none. Their decision is final, and that's it. Your ass is in jail. You're finished off for however long they want you to be finished off. That is positively frightening. Because I was asking this the first time I was in Monroe County Jail. How do I appeal? And I do not know the public defender's office is there. Do you know why? The first time I appeared in Penfield Court, these ludicrous fiction, criminal contempt second, harassment second, the public defender's office is not notified. I walked in there. Lobenzo declared me guilty. I'm on my knees in Penfield Court. I screamed, "You're violating my rights." They drove me to Monroe County Jail. Public defender's not there. Think about what I'm saying, James Monroe Jr. Just giving your name here, which is right here. So I'm going to tell the Office of Court Administration and others about you, just like you, Paul C. Metzer. Sheriff Todd Baxter gave you my private health care records. My former employers passed the Health Insurance Privacy Protection Act of 1996, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, to properly protect healthcare records. What the hell are you doing, you $28,000 bald-headed widow, with my healthcare records right in front of you? How's that answer? Answer me. Christopher.chichester@mail.com, and you think you don't have to answer a goddamn thing, Paul C. Metzer, because you're corrupt. The judge is holding you. This is what you told me, Regina Harper, because when I had to go to the kiosk in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, where I don't live, she's holding me in this jail. How's that constitution? Did you reach this conclusion, Regina Harper? When you said to me, Regina Harper, the judge is holding you, did you reach a conclusion that this is not constitution? Because I don't believe it is, and I'm going to find out if it is. This one hack and sociopath is holding me in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo when I live in Penfield in Monroe County when a prosecutor's not present. And if a prosecutor's not present, a prosecutor can make an argument that I committed a crime. And does this matter to you, Public Defender Julie Cianca? And the answer is no, because you're in fear of the district attorney's office and you're in fear of the sheriff's office. That's why. What's justice about, Julie Cianca? What's justice about, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles? What's justice about, Mark Monahan? What's justice about, $0 Michael Rather? It's about more than $0. It's about money. If I had money, I wouldn't spend one day in jail. It's as simple as that. I would have had the resources to keep you psychopaths at bay and keep you away from me. The lunatic fringe warrant for my arrest for walking to a park lot house is possibly explained, defended. It can't be. This is hatred here that I've talked about over and over and over. So today is 7:20 p.m. I think since the weekend, more people walk through the park lot on the weekend. 15 to 20 people walk through this park lot today. And when they rush down Lake Marshall, see someone walk through this park lot, they're not calling the sheriff's office. It's only me. So where's my 14th Amendment right to equal protection of laws if it's only me? This is another reason why Shannon Meyer should be fired. I'm the only citizen to be arrested for walking through this parking lot. Will you smash me into a million little pieces? Over and over and over. So, when I come outside and I say to Steve Devs and Brock Cole and Tree Lawn Care, civilian using upon me, nobody owns that land and walk back my residence. Your 6 fanatics arrive. Shannon Meyer runs from my back, but crash lands on her face. There she is, laying in my backyard dirt, then $67,000 Shannon Meyer. Because she's planning on doing this to me. Because Elliot Roth, the 2025 Penfield Road, says to me, you're going to be arrested. Isn't that right, Elliot? I copied you on here. There's a pounding on my door. I answer the front door. All I did is tell Steve Desmond, Brock, Old Tree Land, no one can, nobody owns the land, and walk back in my residence. Meyer runs around to the front. This hyperventilating freak has dirt on her face, dirt on her uniform. 5 of you freaks at the sheriff's office are there. And then I hear the lie at the front door. We want to talk to you outside. I walk outside, and another freak says to me, show us where you were standing. I walk out to where I was standing, and then Meyer runs up behind me and puts the handcuffs on me. All for telling a man on his track that nobody owns the land next to my residence. I'm taken down to Monroe County Jail. I'm placed in a holding cell where I'm handcuffed beside the cell and I can't reach the urinal. I urinated on myself. And then a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee at the jail came to me with his phone in his hand. He said, I want to show you something. And it's taken from this surveillance device right there. How many times do I have to say this, you Benito Mussolini skinhead Todd Baxter? Because I'm going to say a transcript of this. You'll see what I'm saying. Is this private technology at 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights, where Elliot Roth's the president? Or did you buy it and fix it for me? What's the answer, Todd Baxter? You don't believe you have to answer these questions from any citizens when you violate the civil and constitutional rights with your cop freaks like Shannon Meyer. He showed it to me. It's on his phone. It has a number called an ICN number. I've been to your sheriff's office to demand video footage of this, and you're refusing to provide it to me. Where's the evidence? I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. This is an image of me. It's a video image of me on the phone in the sheriff's office. Also, Regina Harper sent me other images of me taken from this camera, also called a surveillance device. Did you destroy it? Does it not exist anymore? Will you say it doesn't exist anymore? Or will you lie, because you are an inveterate liar, and say, that's not our camera and I don't know what you're talking about? You just lie because you know you can lie. Because you have the power to be a liar, Todd Baxter, and so do your cop freaks. So on this January 16th, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, this is over and over since this January 16th. This photograph's why I'm a fanatic. This photograph's why I'm an extremist. This photograph's why I lie. This photograph's why I know the name is $67,000 disgusting hash Shannon Meyer. This photograph's why people hate the police. I've never had any hatred for the police until I moved to Penfield. My then girlfriend Laura and I lived in Webster above a man named Ed who had Tourette's syndrome. And he would do things I've never seen any human being do before. And one of the things he would do was call the police to where Laura and I lived in Webster. And this is why Laura and I are going to move from Webster to Penfield, because of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. It's past midnight. He starts to yell and scream and throw things. He's pounding on the door. I get up from the bed. My girlfriend Laura is behind me because she heard the same pounding on the door. I'm in my white t-shirt and boxer shorts. I open up the door and here's this Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee. He grabs me by my shirt, pulls me out the hallway, and throws me up against the wall. Just for answering the door. I came off the wall and I took my finger and I thought, I want to get my finger as close to his eye as possible, which I did. My finger was this close to his eye. And I said, the only reason why you're allowed to do that to me is you're wearing an ice cream net suit. They left immediately. And I closed the door and my then girlfriend Laura started to cry. And it's about her. Anytime someone in your life is upset or crying or has a reaction like this, it's about that person. It always should be. But this is one of the worst moments of my life, the way she was crying. And this is what you're doing to me at your sheriff's office. This is why Laura Riley and I moved from Webster, New York to Penfield, New York, where I don't know when she's hired at the Penfield Public Library, that down the hall from the entrance to Penfield Public Library is this nauseating, disgusting start chamber with John P. Lomenzo Jr. and James P. Jr. And then Lomenzo Jr. retired, and Paul C. Metz was in there with her $5,000 or $6,000, 6,000 votes. Dan Glaus III, you better have documentation for Dan Glaus III, Paul C. Metz, and James P. Jr. because John P. Lomenzo Jr. released him. You know exactly what I'm talking about because he says the documents is a defective, accused child rapist. This is a story in the Democrat and Chronicle about him. He doesn't recuse himself in Penfield Town Court from the appearance of Dan Glaus III, who's an accused child rapist on Antel Luster in Penfield because he knows the family. So, John P. Lomenzo Jr. can walk through his parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? Because he's a different kind of American than me as far as his rights. He's also a different kind of American than me because John P. Lomenzo Jr. is evil. So, I've been in contact with you, with the sheriff's office, and district attorney's office repeatedly and answer my questions. I have questions that are not on the Freedom of Information Law, and they answer my demands. My demands are that you disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. And the Freedom of Information Law is attached. And you will refuse, once again, even though the four that I read, to disclose the names of my prosecutors because you're corrupt. It's on here. You know the names of my prosecutors of silence. Public Defender Julie Cianca, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper. And you will refuse to disclose those names because you're corrupt. You know the names of my prosecutors of silence. Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas, Assistant District Attorney Mark Monahan. And you will refuse to disclose those names because you're corrupt. That's why. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been an innocent man my whole life.